So I'm going to sign in as a high privileged user. A lot of the challenges come from high privileged abuse and having access to information that you really shouldn't have access to. So let's say that I'm in the role of a PeopleSoft administrator or a tester inside of a development environment. Well, I want to go in and access very quickly what the CEO makes. Nobody's going to see that I'm going to actually access that information, right? So I can quickly look at it, and see that information. So I'm going to go into job data, and I'm going to go in and put in the employee ID for the CEO of the organization, so I can actually see very quickly, from their primary job and those types of things, that if I look at the job information side of it, that this is the president and CEO of the organization inside a demo. Well, I can come over and look at the compensation rates. Well, okay, well, number one, we're masking that data out. So from a protection perspective, we see that. But number two, it's both the header and the detail that all of that is masked out. So what we've done, though, is we're going to be able to capture that. So let's flip back over to the dashboards. And when we talk about the dashboards on our A360 to be able to fine tune and dial into exactly what those users are doing, we've got several different ways that we can do this. I'm going to start with showing you more from a business owner, or this could really be anybody from, an auditor or those types of situation as well. But I'm going to start with looking at that particular access inside of the system. So what I've done is I've got a dashboard that we call our user access HCM components. So this is looking at the last 15 minutes. So just targeting information that I just looked at right there. We can see up here in the upper right hand corner, first off, the searches. So we've got an activity time. We know the user that was signed into the system, their employee ID, the keys that they actually accessed. So I can see that I looked at employee ID KU001, their employee record, and I looked at job data. So that quickly, I know that they looked at job data. We can see logins by departments, those types of informations. I don't have anything to where they actually viewed somebody that's within the same department, for example. But in this scenario down here, now we've got compensation pages that have been accessed. So very quickly, in near real time, we can see that the user ID, the employee ID, what device did they access that information from, their IP address, country, city, the component that they actually accessed, and what page they accessed. So I know specifically that they accessed that job information, or the compensation information on KU001, which is the CEO. How quickly can your organization answer those types of questions is being able to understand some of the challenges of what's going on. This is, if I'm a PeopleSoft administrator, I don't need to be looking at compensation data at all. But because of the permissions that I have inside of the system, that becomes a real challenge.